Hey rich friends, today we're going to talk about how to prepare financially for the new year. The last few weeks of the year are a great time to get a jump starter on your finances for the new year so that you can get into 2025 ready and start making the best financial decisions from day one. Setting yourself up for building wealth in the new year. There are 4 things that you need to do to prepare financially for the year. The first thing you need to do is you need to review 2024. Get a sheet of paper, get an Excel spreadsheet, a Notion page. I want you to review these areas of your finances. First, look at your income. How much money did you make in 2024? What were the sources of income that you had in 2024? So let's say you have your 9-to-5 job, your salary is one source of income. If you have a side hustle, that could also be another source of income that you have. If you have investment income, so money coming in from your investment portfolio. I like to record my tax refund as some form of income that I get. So record all your income, total up, what does that come to? It's better to look at this number to understand things. Number 1, how do you feel about your income in that year? Do you feel gratitude? Do you feel dissatisfaction? Do you feel maybe some form of sadness or pain looking at your income? Is that where you want to be? The second category I want you to look at is your expenses. So I keep a record. I track all my expenses every single day throughout the year. I have a template and a video showing you how I do that in another video that I'm going to link up here. That could be a good habit that you can get into for next year. But if you do not track your expenses, hopefully you have like an app for that. Maybe you have your bank app or your credit card app, whatever it is. You can look back on your expenses or even just sit down and think, what are the major expenses that you made in 2024? What categories of your life did you spend the most money in? If I'm doing this review for myself, I know that in 2024, I spent a lot of money on fashion. This year, it was very important for me to level up how I presented myself in the world. So I really upgraded my wardrobe. I gave a lot of money this year as well. At the beginning of every year, I always have a giving target, and I met my giving target, also gave beyond my giving target this year as I felt led or moved to do that. There were also some projects that I had in mind for this year. I had home projects to complete. I had some other projects that I had to work on, and they required investment, and I spent money on those. So you can see that very quickly. Off the top of my head, I can tell you these are the 3 bucket where my money went into. I wanted to do the same thing. What are the biggest expenses that you had? Maybe you spent a lot of money on travel, gave a lot of money. Maybe you wasted your money on like trips or food. Write that down. The third category that I want you to review is your savings and your investment. So hopefully throughout the year you are putting money away, setting money aside in savings and investment. If you did, open up your savings portfolio, open up your investment portfolio and look at it right now. How much money do you have saved? How much money do you have invested? It's also good to look at those accounts all through the year, not just looking at them right now. So when you began the year, what was your savings balance? And now at the end of the year, what is your savings balance? What has caused that change? So peradventure, you began the year with a higher savings number. Ending the year, there should be an explanation for why. What happened? Why are you not contributing money into your savings? What are you spending the money on? So hopefully as well, there has been a growth. Where has that growth come from? What are the habits that have led you to making that growth? Looking at your investment account as well. How much money were you able to invest? How much did you earn throughout the year? What was the average rate of return on your investment? It's important to look at this so you can be sure that you're making the right decisions. In case you need to rebalance your portfolio, are you investing your money in the right places that you want to invest it? Are you saving, the right amount of money? What percentage of your income are you saving? Are you saving enough? Are you saving less than you can? Are you saving more than you can? It's important for you to review that. The 4th category that I want you to review is your debt. So there are 2 categories of debt. You have short-term debt and long-term debt. In terms of your short-term debt, so these are credit cards, any consumer debt that you have. So let's say you bought stuff and you are paying by installment, or you did buy now, pay later, or you took payday loans. Look at that. How much do you have in consumer debt? Any debt that you have that is less than 5 years in term, how much do you have right now? Did you increase your debt level? So in the beginning of the year and now, how has your debt changed? Did you begin the year with debt and you've paid it down, or you began the year without debt or with a lower amount of debt and now you have more amount in debt? So how has your debt portfolio shifted? Look at your long-term debt as well. So let's say you have a mortgage or you have student loans. Those are the 2 categories of long-term debt that most people typically have. So looking at that, how has that changed? Hopefully you've paid down a number of these, or let's say you got a mortgage, or let's say you got student loans this year. Basically just looking at your debt portfolio and seeing how has it changed? Where are you now? Are you comfortable with balances are sitting now? How do you feel about that? The next category that I want you to review are your payments. So under this category, we're looking at subscriptions and insurance. Starting with subscriptions, what are your subscriptions? Like, actually take paper and list out what your subscriptions are. I feel like subscriptions are one expense that people really look at. And these companies are so wise. They just do like auto pay. So every month, if you are not deliberate about looking at your bank balance, looking at your expenses, reviewing your finances, you will just be paying for subscriptions for things that you are not using. So take pen to paper and actually write this down. What are you paying for? Netflix, HBO. There's no reason why you should be paying for all of them at the same time. Netflix, HBO, Apple TV, Amazon Prime, every other one. Like, write them down and review them. So you want to be looking at how often did I use these subscriptions. Like, a good example is TV and entertainment, right? Many people have Netflix, HBO, Prime Video, everything, Peacock, everything, right? You want to be asking yourself, how often was I watching programs on all these providers? How often were I using the subscription? Do you still think it's worth it? Are there any duplicated subscriptions? I did this review last year and I immediately cut out HBO, cut out everything else. I only have a Netflix subscription right now. And even for my Netflix subscription, I significantly downgraded it. I used to have the highest tier. That's the one that shows in like HD and Dolby Atmos, right? Last year when I reviewed my expenses, I was like, I'm spending too much money on subscriptions. And so I cut it down and I downgraded to the Netflix plan that has ads. And I was like, if I can endure ads on YouTube, I should be able to endure ads on Netflix. And for the whole of the year, I significantly cut down on my subscriptions, my subscription costs. Amazon Prime is also another example of subscription. Many people have Amazon Prime, and many of the things you are buying are not really that urgent. I travel a lot for work, so even if I order something on Tuesday, I don't really need it on Wednesday because I'm not at home to get it the next day. I don't really need the 24-hour delivery and overnight delivery. I can wait. I can aggregate my purchases in one and have the delivery come at a later time. I don't really need Amazon Prime. So that's one subscription that I'm always canceling and resubscribing almost every month. Insurance as well. So there's rental insurance, maybe you have car insurance, maybe you have home insurance. Sometimes your insurance premium may be based on time that you got the insurance. So for example, I know that sometimes your car insurance could be high because that's your first time getting car insurance, or maybe like something else. There may be wiggle room for you to review your insurance payments. Just be aware of like how much are you paying on insurance? Can you reduce your payment? And the last thing I want you to review are your habits. I want you to take pen and paper and write down what your financial habits in 2024 was. And I'm going to give an example of some financial habits that you may have. So maybe you shopped, you are sad, you are heartbroken, and you bought stuff a lot in 2024. Maybe you are disciplined with your expenses. Maybe you took a lot of Ubers, you gave money that you did not plan to give, spend money that you did not budget to spend. Write both your good and your bad habits. So example of good habits could be like paid on your loans in time, you did not carry credit card debts, you saved 20%, at least 20% of your income, you live below your means, you give back in some way. Like, write down both your good and your bad habits that you pressed, developed, and used in 2024. Second way that you can prepare financially for the new year, looking at every single thing that you have reviewed in the first step. The second step is to begin to reset. In all these areas that we have looked at, I want you to go back and look critically at them and say, where have I gone off track? So income may be table stakes. Like, you may not be able to really do much about your income, so we can leave that. But your expenses, you can think about it and say, did I spend money the way that I want to spend money? Did I go off track in anything? Did I spend too much where I should not spend? What are the things that I do not want to do? And you can begin to reset that and say, I spent too much on Ubers in 2024. I spent too much on eating out in 2024. I spent too much on giving in 2024. And in 2025, I want to do better, right? You can look at your credit card. Maybe you forgot to pay your credit card balance 2 months. And because of that, you ended up paying thousands of dollars in interest for your credit card. That's something that you can reset and say, no more. I am not doing that. I'm going to pay my credit card off before the end of the month. I am going to set up auto pay on my credit card. Another thing that you can reset is your subscriptions. So look back at your subscriptions. Where have you gone off track? Maybe services that you tried once, you tried once and you did not like it, but you forgot to cancel. I remember that earlier in the year, I think I paid for Bumble. I paid for Bumble Premium. And I felt after like a few weeks of using it, I was like, I probably don't need this subscription, but I forgot to cancel it. And would you believe that I paid for Bumble Premium for 3 months? Like I forgot that I had a premium account. And then one day, I can't remember, I think I just opened my App Store transactions and I was like, wait, I've been paying like $35 every month for what? And I cut it out. So look through, be very, very specific with this. Cancel every subscription that you're not using. Cancel subscriptions that you're not using enough. And for subscriptions that you're not sure, like there's some subscriptions where you are between. It's like, do I use it or do I not use it? Turn off automatic payment. Let the company alert you every month that you have not paid. And this is one way for you to test whether a subscription is actually an important one for you or not. If you forget to pay and you actually do not need the service, that tells you something. You actually do not need it. So think critically about your subscriptions. If you have a gym membership, whatever it is, this is the time to review and to reset them. And the last area is actually loans, especially student loans. This is something that I did a few weeks back and I'm very, very happy that I did it. I refinanced my student loans last year in 2023. And when I refinanced it, I selected an interest rate based on the macro environment at the time. And I let it go and I just set my student loan payments to auto pay and I just pay every month without really thinking about it. This year, thankfully, one of my friends in passing just mentioned to me that she refinanced her student loans and was able to get a lower interest rate payment. This friend used the same student loan company that I use, which is SoFi. And this is the reason why it's important to have rich friends. And that's why I call you guys my rich friends, because rich friends think the same way. We are all about building wealth. We're all about saving money, all about making sure our money works for us well. And rich friends tell their rich friends the secrets and the tips that they are using to get rich and build wealth. So my friend told me about this. So I actually just tried it and I didn't know that. And that's what I'm telling you on this video, because we are rich friends. Apparently, it's very possible for you to refinance your student loans with the same provider. So I used SoFi and I was able to refinance my loan with them again. And I was able to reduce my interest rate payment by 2%. Now that is a lot when you compare it to whatever the principal is. I was able to lower my student loan payment, like in terms of how much I will eventually have paid. The macro environment has definitely changed. I think interest rates have come down and there may be opportunities for you to actually reduce your interest rate, whatever long-term debts that you have. So definitely look into refinancing your debt if it's possible. Now, the third thing that you're going to do to make sure that you're setting up yourself to be rich and to build wealth in 2025 is you're going to create a plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we're going to create a 2025 plan. I have a more detailed video about how to create a financial plan for 2025 that's going to come up in the channel next. If you don't want to miss that, definitely like this video and hit the subscribe button so that you're alerted when that video comes out. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of how to plan for success in your finances in 2025. The first thing that you want to think about is, what are your goals? What are your macro goals in your life? So let's say you have goals like move into a house, buy a home, buy a car, get a promotion, help your siblings with their education, whatever goals you have. I want you to list that on a sheet of paper, because many times we may have goals that are not financial in nature, but because of the nature of our finances are one thing that permeates in every area of life. So in your health, in your career, in your spiritual life, in your relationships, in your fun and hobbies, every single area of your life impacts your finances. Either they create money for you or they use money. For each of those goals that you have in 2025, I want you to think about how much would this goal cost me or create for me. So let's say that you have a goal for getting another job or getting a promotion. That is a goal that may increase your income. So what is my expected income based on this goal? For other goals that may be expenses, so like I want to travel, I want to go to Japan next year, for example. I need to write down how much is that goal going to cost me. $3,000 is going to cost me $5,000. I want to move into a bigger house, a bigger apartment next year. How much is that going to cost me? How much is it going to cost for you to achieve your goals next year? It's important for you to write this down, not only so that you can prepare your finances, but so that you actually can achieve those goals. Because there are many times that you have goals, but you're not able to achieve them because you cannot afford them. And this is something that I experienced myself back in 2019, 2018. I wanted to go to business school. I did not sit down and count the cost and say how much is it going to cost me to actually go to business school, to pay for the exams, to pay for the application fee. And I was not able to achieve that goal in that year because I could not financially afford it. And that was when I began to actually plan financially for the next year. And since I've been doing it, it has helped me every single time. So I encourage you to actually look at that. Now, secondly, I want you to look at your financial goals. What goals do you have for your finances? And this could be, I want to save $50K next year. I want to save $100,000 next year. You could have goals like I want to double my income. You could have goals like I want to double my giving. You could have goals like I want to increase my investment. Think critically about what your financial goals for the year. If you don't have any goals for your finances, your money is not going to go anywhere. You're going to just be living based on emergencies, based on what is happening in the moment. The next thing I want you to plan for next year is, what will my budget look like? I have a video about how I budget my money, and I want you to go and check that out. There are some standard budgeting, percentages that fly around on the internet, like 30% of your income should be spent on your needs, 30% should be spent on your wants, and 20% should be spent on savings and investment. That is like a very basic, easy budgeting ratio that most people, swear by. If you don't have that, that's something that you could, look at your income right now and say, can I live on 50% of my income? Can I save 20% of my income? And if that doesn't work for you, you can flex that as well. By the way, if you need help with setting financial goals, I have a video on my channel. And that brings me to the last thing that I want you to plan for next year, which is your savings and investment plan. So how much do you want to save? What percentage of your income do you want to save? How much do you want to invest? What do you want to invest in, right? Do you want to invest in stocks? Do you want to invest in index funds? Do you want to invest in businesses? And in the new year, I'm going to be making a lot more videos around investing, create an investment portfolio, how to invest your money. I'm going to be making videos about how to invest your first 1K, your first 5K, your first 10K, how to invest 50K, 100K, all that. I'm very, very excited about making those videos. So subscribe so you don't miss any of that. But right now, create a plan, right? Just high level. Where do you want your money to go? Do you want to invest in real estate? Create a plan. Now, the last thing that you're going to do to be ready to build wealth in 2025 is you're going to take action. You've watched this video. I want you to take action. Cut out those subscriptions. Refinance your loans. I already gave you ideas of actions that I want you to take. I want you to begin to automate stuff. So you want to save 20% of your income next year. I want you to automate it, right? I want you to download a savings app. The one that I recommend is Marcus by Goldman Sachs, which is a high yield savings account. Download it, create an account, and automate the draw from your checking account from your checking account before the year runs out. I want you to automate your debt payment. So automate your credit card payments, pay off your credit card before the end of automate your student loan payment as well. Automate your mortgage payment. Every payment that you can automate, right? Make it automatic. Automate your saving, automate every single thing. Make everything automatic. And doing this is going to really, really help because it's going to reduce the inertia, procrastination, whatever that may come later in the year. Where many people fail in the beginning of every year when they're setting goals is they set their goals, let's say today in December, and then fast forward to March, they've already, the year has already started, stress of the year. Maybe they already experienced some painful thing already in the year. Motivation is low. And because your motivation is low, it becomes easy to slip, to refuse, to not save, to amass debt, right? When you automate it, right? When you do all these things down ahead of time, while you have the feeling, while you are still, right now that you're watching this video, you are in the best headspace. You are motivated, you have reviewed your finances, you've set your goals, you are charged, you know what you want to do. Using that energy, using that, motivation that you built up right now, automate every single thing that you can automate. Third thing that you're going to do to take action today is create your budget for January. Do it right now. Don't wait for January to come. You already know what your income is going to look like in January. Plan your money. What are you going to spend on food? What are you going to spend on transport? What are you going to give? What are you going to spend on fun and hobbies? Every single category to make a a budget, make a plan right now. And last but not the least, I want you to begin to establish financial boundaries. Think about your money. Think about places that you went off last year, like you went off this year, right? Maybe you gave money you're supposed to give. Maybe you had a lot of emergency expenses. About the financial boundaries that you want to set this year. Maybe you're setting financial boundaries with people, and this, you might not even have to tell these people. This may just be you. You have to create a giving budget, right? You have to tell yourself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to spend when I'm sad. Like, one financial boundary that I established for myself in 2024 was I had no spend weeks. So I had weeks within a month I did not spend anything. I disciplined myself to not buy anything, to not check out from Amazon. It gave me discipline, and I actually stopped doing it. So as I'm planning for 2025, I'm going to establish these boundaries. Those are the 4 key ways that you can plan financially for the year. But all these 4 steps are going to fail if you do not have a strong why that will motivate you and propel you into the new year. If you are struggling with setting your financial goals for 2025, I made a video already about the top financial goals and milestones that you must achieve in your 30s. And in that video, I talk about some of the most important goals that are required if you are serious about staying rich and building wealth. And I think you should check that out. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay rich and build wealth. Bye.